Each and every one of us has an unlimited inner wellspring of spiritual power. You have the ability to transform, create, and heal anything upon which you set your heart and mind. Join me, Sarah Hall, as we learn how to uplift all aspects of your life through spiritual empowerment. Enjoy weekly guided meditations, spiritual discussions on a multitude of topics, and a chance to call in to receive channeled messages from the angels on your spiritual journey. I'm Sarah Hall, and this is Through the Eyes of the Angels. Hi everyone, happy holidays, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's show, where we'll be discussing the meaning and spiritual significance of the winter solstice and the power of rituals. Every single one of us, whether we consider ourselves spiritually minded or not, perform rituals and have partaken in greater cultural or communal rituals. Rituals seem to be something that we as human beings gravitate towards. There's something in our spiritual and psychological nature that just seems to derive comfort, self-empowerment, inspiration, and even healing from practicing rituals. A ritual is any physical world activity you practice to achieve a mental or spiritual goal or state of being. So a ritual can be something as simple as what you do in the morning to feel ready for the day. A lot of people, for example, incorporate the element of water into that sort of ritual. They'll maybe shower or wash their face first thing in the morning, not only just to get clean, but also to feel clean, to feel energized, awake, and ready. It's their time to collect their thoughts or focus their energy on what they will become, create, or do during the day. We as human beings gravitate towards rituals as part of our daily lives, no matter who we are or what part of the world we live in, because it is very effective for us as spiritual co-creators of our realities to focus our vast mental and spiritual potential into the physical world and use the material physical world as the conduit or medium of our soul's desire and nature to create. All of us are naturally highly creative beings, and we create at each level of being. It's clear that we create at the physical level of being. We build cities, create works of art and technology that's forever lifting the human mind and spirit into new experiences and realities. We can clearly see that we also create at the mental level of being, as the world is full of stories, ideas, philosophies, and great imaginings that have given birth to whole new worlds that exist just inside the human mind. And did you know that we also create at the spiritual level of being? We as human beings are capable of creation through spirit. We powerfully shape each of our own souls through the experiences we have in our lifetime, to the extent that most of us carry memories and spiritual impressions from previous lifetimes. We also create spiritually through meditation or other practices in which we are focusing on and directly accessing or relating to our spirit. Meditation, for example, can help us to bring the highest spiritual energies and states of being into our mind and presence, awakening and expanding the potential within our perspective and our awareness. Energy healing arts such as Reiki also allow us to create spiritually by directly touching, moving, and rearranging spiritual energy in order to heal. And rituals. Rituals are perhaps one of my favorite examples of the way we create spiritually, because again, all of us engage in rituals of some kind. If you look at age-old cultures from around the world, all of us everywhere have engaged in some kind of spiritual ritual, rituals designed to access spiritual energy in order to create, change, heal, or manifest something in the physical world. Rituals with the intention of helping us to come to know ourselves better, accessing the feelings deep in our hearts, or perhaps pioneering the states of being that we're capable of. Or rituals designed specifically for us to touch God, to know our spiritual origin, to return to that origin, or to perhaps bring back knowledge from it. I believe that December is a magical time for exploring the idea of sacred rituals, because this is a time when cultures and traditions throughout the world acknowledge the idea of divine spiritual light through ritual. The winter solstice will occur on December 21st, and this is the date of the shortest day of the year and the longest night and period of physical darkness in the Northern Hemisphere. Religions and cultures around the world have chosen this dark time, depending on where you live, sometimes a very cold, seemingly bleak and lifeless time in nature's cycle, to focus on light. If you walk down a typical American street this time of year, you'll probably see strings of light hung up, bringing a little cheerful glow to this dark time of the year. This is the time that Christians celebrate the birth of the Christ, who is symbolically called the light of the world. Or another way to think of it is that Christ is the bringer of light or enlightenment to consciousness. This is the time when Jews celebrate Hanukkah, in which they'll ritualistically kindle 8 lights symbolic of spiritual faith, dedication, and the power of spiritual light overcoming perhaps our darker human tendencies. 5,000 years ago, this was the time when the Egyptians celebrated the rebirth of the sun and the birth of Horus, the son of Isis, over a 12-day festival that is thought to be the origin for the idea of the 12 days of Christmas. In Mesopotamia, this was the time in which another 12-day festival was celebrated for the god Marduk, who overcame the world's darkness by taming the monsters of chaos and darkness. In Iran, Yalda is celebrated, in which people keep vigil through the long night, in which they're bringing fires and they're lighting them and they're helping to symbolically have the sun battle the darkness and goodness sort of overcome evil. They'll also eat bright red fruits like pomegranate or watermelon to symbolize the red color of the dawn and the return of the sun. In China, Dongji is celebrated as a time for feasting and celebration at winter's beginning, again celebrating on lightheartedness, the light inside of us. The pagan and Scandinavian Germanic people celebrate Yule, which is another 12-day celebration of the birth of the sun god to the goddess. Even ancient Stonehenge shows that this time of year was ritualized as perhaps spiritually significant because Stonehenge is a physical marker for the alignment of the sun during winter and summer solstice. In all of these rituals, what we see is the celebration of light returning to the physical world as the sun returns to the earth, as well as divine light returning to human consciousness and overcoming our inner darkness. The Course in Miracles states, God is the light in which I see. Meaning, God, or the spiritual source of life, or higher consciousness, in other words, love, is the light in which I see. What that means is love is understanding. Love unlocks understanding, higher consciousness, understanding and all that comes with it, including peace, healing, forgiveness, and miracles. Do our rituals bring us closer to divine love, thereby perhaps the light of true spiritual understanding? I think that they can, depending on the awareness that you bring to your ritual, of course. And I think that rituals are meant to do this. As commercialized as some of the rituals or holidays of the modern world have become, there is still a focus on the idea of light, hope, and love that is there. You have the power to create love and to empower whatever intentions you have for your life with love through the rituals you've been perhaps raised to traditionally celebrate, or maybe through rituals of your own creation. What kind of rituals do you celebrate or practice? I would absolutely love to hear from you with any of your thoughts, reflections, or even questions, or if you'd like an angel reading later on in this show. And you'll be getting a chance to call in soon. The number to call for this is 240-979-4111. So go ahead and you can save that for later. The number is 240-979-4111. And know that even if you don't get through for your reading today, you can always book an angel reading with me through my website at www.seraphim.com. That's www.seraphim.com. All right. I wanted to share with you guys one ritual that I started for myself during this time of year. And again, I think December is just a magical time. I love Solstice. I used to attend events at a Vipassana meditation center called the Deep Spring Center that was founded by a woman called Barbara Brodsky. Barbara is an amazing woman. She became deaf over 40 years ago as the result of complications in childbirth. At about the same time, she devoted herself to the practice of meditation. She had many questions and strong feelings within her at that time because, as you can probably imagine, it must have been very difficult to lose your hearing. And during one of her meditations, the spirit of a teacher named Aaron appeared to her. Aaron became a guide and teacher for her for the rest of her life. She still communicates with him. And he communicated that he would be her guide, helping her through her spiritual journey, and he helps other people too. Because Barbara became the channel for Aaron. And she hosts also public events where you can ask questions to Aaron and hear his incredible wisdom and insight on life, meditation, and the human journey. So every December, Barbara would host an event called Christmas Stories with Aaron. You see, Aaron was once a living human being. He had living human lifetimes just like us. And in one of these lifetimes, he was a man named Nathaniel, who grew up in the Jewish Essene community in which Jesus was born. So Nathaniel knew Jesus personally. And so Aaron has many stories of his experiences with Jesus. And it's so wonderful to hear them. The first time I heard these Christmas stories with Aaron, I was absolutely enthralled, I have to say. The energy within and around me felt so incredibly imbued with love and light. And in my moments connecting with these stories, I had never felt personally closer, perhaps, to Jesus, who is an incredible teacher, ascended master, healer, and guide for us on this planet, no matter what your religion is. My feelings as I connected with these stories were so strong that I had the thought, wow, truth is an amazing thing. When you encounter the truth, there's nothing quite like feeling it in your body, mind, and very soul. Truth holds such an undeniable feeling to it, and I truly believe that Barbara really does channel the spirit of a being who knew Jesus personally. You can just sense it. So as my solstice gift to all of you, I thought that I would share my personal yearly ritual with all of you in reading one of these Christmas stories from Aaron. Barbara has actually published a collection of these stories in a book called 47 Stories of Jesus You Probably Have Never Heard. And you can find that book and other information about Barbara and the Deep Spring Center by visiting www.deepspring.org. So let's have story time. Are you guys ready? All right. I wanted to mention too that Aaron always pronounced Jesus' name the Hebrew way, Yeshua. So in the story, when you hear the name Yeshua, you'll know that it refers to Jesus. Okay, everybody settled in, comfy, cozy. Let's start story time. Yay! At the time of the birth of Jesus, I was a young boy, 6 or 7 years old. I was a shepherd near the town of Bethlehem, dwelling in the hills with my father and older brother. I was old enough to accompany them for this evening outdoors. The scene was very peaceful that night. I was wrapped in a blanket by the fire. My father and the other men told stories. Later, the night grew very still. And suddenly, there was a very brilliant star. We all saw it. Below us in the valley, some distance away, was Bethlehem. Never had I seen a star like that before. Nor, I would assume, had the elders, because they all grew quiet. Some felt afraid, but most felt a deep sense of peace and wonder. You have seen how a full moon shines on a snowy place, and the way everything seems to light up. The star did the same thing. The whole scene seemed luminous in the distance. There was such a sense of deep peace, such a brilliance to the light. Music seemed to fill the air, not heard with our ears, but with our heart. Through all the lives I lived and time spent in between lives, it has been enough just to remember the love of that moment and the wonder of it. It seemed that a doorway between heaven and earth had been briefly opened, and some of the essence of heaven was pouring through. We were drawn as if by a magnet to descend the hills and approach the town. My father was hesitant to go too far from our sheep, so we did not go all the way, but stood on a hill perhaps a mile away. It was a night unlike I had ever known before or since. The air was filled with angelic presences, which in itself is not unusual. The air is often filled with loving spirits. What was unusual was the strength of the love that was coming through to the earth. Even those who would have been skeptical of the existence of a divine visitation could sense the strength of energy that was present and the love. As an aside here, of course, my father understood what was happening, as did others of the Essene community, but most of the shepherds did not. The strongest memory is that of deep peace and a profound joy that something had happened far beyond the understanding of this young boy that I was, something that would profoundly change the world. Many went all the way to town. Others of us just stayed close to our flocks on the hillside. But no matter where you were, the light permeated everything. I cannot say it came from just that star. It seemed almost as if the earth itself glowed. We were in awe. Many of the adults began to pray. We sat there for many hours. Some of those who had gone all the way to town returned. I was dozing by this time, but I still heard the faint words of elders near me in the still of the early morning hours. A child is born. They call him the Prince of Peace. They say that his teachings will change the world. And then I remember my father's strong arms lifted me up and carried me back up the hill to our fire. I slept with a sense of joy and peace as I have never known before and rarely since. A sense that somehow much that had been wrong with the world was going to be righted, that new hope was offered to the world. Although they did not see each other very often, my father and Joseph and Mary were friends. The next day, I had the opportunity to walk with my father to see the baby Jesus. We brought him an orphaned lamb as a gift. This visit was a great blessing to me. I was given the opportunity to hold the blessed infant, and there was deep joy in that closeness. I could feel from him a sense of love and profound peace. He didn't cry in the way many newborns cry. I'm sure that when he was hungry or uncomfortable, he gave voice to his needs, but mostly He simply radiated peace, and he met my eyes with a deep, loving focus. And then, you know history, his family took him away for reasons of safety, and I did not see him again for a number of years. When they left, that lamb was given to me to care for. I always knew which one it was amidst the larger flock, cherished him, and looked forward to the day when I could return him to this beloved child. That day came perhaps 4 or 5 years later when they returned to Mount Carmel, when it was deemed safe for them to return. I was about 6 years older than Yeshua. He had been told his friend Nathaniel had given him a lamb, and that he, now a 5-year-old, would have the lamb for himself when he came home. What a joy it was to give it to him. He was very curious about what I did, so through the years he was permitted to come up into the hills with me, often just for a few hours, but sometimes for a few days, especially as I was a bit older and more trusted to care for a younger child. I called him a younger child, but when we were 7 and 12, there was really no age difference between us. If anything, he was the elder in both heart and skill. We had both been studying. Yeshua more listening in on the older boys' classes about manifestation. One does not light a fire, one invites the already present fire to express itself. It's already there. We were in the hills together for several days. The weather turned cold and rainy. I began to rub sticks together to get a fire started. It was cold, the wind was blowing, and I could not find enough dry tinder to get the fire started. I'd get a spark, and then it would go out. Finally, young Yeshua looked at me and said, "Nathaniel, just light the fire." I paused in my efforts. So Yeshua put his hand on my arm, said, "Stop all this nonsense." He simply looked at the damp wood, and there was fire. I understood how to do this conceptually, but confess I had never successfully done it. So here was this younger child showing me. Throughout our lives, he constantly showed me. He taught me. He led me. He understood so deeply. He taught me faith, love, and courage. He taught me wisdom. I've told you so many stories throughout the years, it's hard not to repeat myself. More than anything, he understood the light in all its meanings. He understood that he had come as a bearer of light, and that even if he lived his life with skill, there was no guarantee that he could do what he came to do. But if he had the love and courage to walk his path, that it could literally change the world. You look around you now at a world in which there is so much darkness, so much fear, hatred, bigotry, and greed, and you wonder, did he really change the world? My dear ones, if he had not come to remind you of the light, you would not be sitting here asking if it's possible to bring forth this light. You would be lost in the same darkness as your ancestors, caught in greed, fear, and hatred. All of you here in this room are old souls. You've all incarnated in this lifetime with the intention to be bearers of light. No, you will not be asked to have the courage he had. You will not be asked to hang on a physical cross and to experience such torment of the body. That's not your plan. Your plan is to seek the highest consciousness within, and the whole world to invite that consciousness to manifest, literally to speak love and truth to fear and hatred. Each time you do this, even in the smallest way, it does change the world. As you practice in this way, you do experience your own crucifixion of sorts through the pains of the body and the heart. Each time you rise above negativity and darkness, you further lean and on the light, and you learn to support love. It is not so different now as then. There is always the choice to serve light or darkness. While many of the shepherds were kinder, more loving, and less materialistic, not all who roamed the hills were kind. Yeshua was with me once when boys who were about my age came forth and began throwing stones at us. It seemed their intention was to steal one of my sheep and take it away, and also just to humiliate Yeshua and me, to show their power and to feel big, as some boys wish to feel. I was small of stature, and these boys, while perhaps not older than me, were bigger. I was a bit frightened of them. I was not about to give up the sheep to them without a fight, and if Yeshua had not been with me, I would have simply protected my sheep even if they beat me up. But Yeshua was 6 years younger, and I had a responsibility to protect him. So I was about to hand over a sheep. A lamb is what they wanted. They were calling me names, coward, baby, and those kinds of names that boys sometimes call each other. They hardly noticed Yeshua. I asked them which lamb they wanted. I steeled myself to their name calling and not to react. And then Yeshua stepped in front of me. I don't know how to put this. It seemed he grew 3 feet. This was a 6 or 7-year-old child, but suddenly he was big and powerful. His energy field blossomed out enormous, and these 3 boys fell back. He said, "Why would you steal my brother's lamb?" He simply looked at each one in the eye. They were about to run away, and he said, "Stop, don't run. You did not answer my question. Why would you steal my brother's lamb?" One of them shuffled his feet awkwardly and said, "Because we are hungry." So Yeshua turned to me and he said, "Can they come back to the fire? Can we feed them? Can we go to your father and see if he has spare food for them?" So he did not shame them. He heard them deeply and respected their need. He was not afraid to use his power to stop negativity, even at that tender age. But he also was not enamored of his power, and he did not misuse it. We had just come up into the hills and taken over the flock. My father had left us there for several days with an abundance of food. I was afraid to invite these boys back, but Yeshua said, "Come." So we went to my fire and we ate. They asked him, "Who are you?" And he said, "Yeshua," just that, not "I am God" or "I am divine," just Yeshua. "But who are you?" "I am a son of God, as you are sons of God." Remember, this is coming from a small boy. "I choose to live my divinity, and you can too." Now he had their attention. How do we do that? He said to them, "You were attracted by the size of my energy field and the power you felt from me. It is not my power, but issues through me from our Father, from the source. You also have that power, but you cannot tap into that power if you use it for mischief. You can only tap into that power if you use it for good. Do you want that power? Yes. What is there good that you can do?" As we finished eating, they were talking about those in their community who had need. I heard about these boys some months afterward, that they had gone home and in their village there was a widow with some young children. They had taken it upon themselves to supply food, firewood, and other things for her. They had grown so much in stature and in the respect in their community that instead of being treated like they were 12-year-olds, often naughty boys, they were treated like they were loving men. They were coming to know their own divine power. He could so easily have overwhelmed them and humiliated them, but he did not choose to do that. He chose instead to use this as a teaching opportunity. He didn't change in that, whether he was 6 or years later as an adult. I never saw him humiliate anyone or use his power in any way that harmed anyone. But I also never saw him afraid to express his power in ways that could do good in the world. At a time when he was moving into his ministry and had begun to understand where his journey was taking him, he understood that he had the power to change the course of things. He understood the responsibility that came with that power, that this life was not his own, as none of your lives are your own, and that he must simply follow the way that opened before him. Before the crucifixion, he questioned, "Am I to die that way? Would it not be better for me to live?" He was not asking me. He was simply raising the question in himself. And I was blessed to be there, sitting and to hear it. And then he answered it to himself, no, I'm the servant. And I simply follow the way that is laid out before me. I am the light. And only as I live that light can I remind others that they also are the light. It is not easy to be a light bearer. One must learn how to find space for one's negativity. For the light bearer is also a human and does feel fear, anger, greed, and other such emotions. The most important thing is never to forget what you really are. I call you angels in earth suits. You are the angel. You are divine and radiant. You are a light bearer. He never asked others what he would not do himself as well. There was a night in which we sheltered in an old barn. The roof leaked. The man whose farm it was had been ill, and though he had thatching material, he had not been able to climb up on the roof and to mend his roof. It was a cold and rainy night. Animals were huddled in the barn in a dry corner, and a few of us humans huddled there also, seeking what shelter we could find between the holes in the roof. The rain let up just a little, and some of us looked at the thatching materials and said, "Let us climb up on the roof and mend it." Now, this is an arduous task, even on a sunny, clear day, but on a cold night when there was ice in the air and that thatch material was wet, one's hands cracked and became raw. Remember, we didn't have fancy gloves like you have today. So several of us climbed up on the roof and began to work. Yeshua accompanied us. No one would have thought less of him if he had stayed inside in the shelter by the fire at the doorway. But he accompanied us, and for several hours we worked in this freezing rain and repaired the roof. When we came in, our hands were raw and bloody, and his hands were also raw and bloody. I know now that he could have protected himself, but he chose not to do that. He chose rather to exhibit his humanness and be there with us in every way to experience the pain and fragility of the human body. When we came in, he turned to each of us as we entered the door and took our hands. I also know at that moment he could have healed our hands instantly, but he chose not to do that. He didn't want to be seen as the instrument of our healing. He wanted us to be empowered and to know that we had the ability to heal ourselves. So he took each of our hands, and as he held my hands, I felt warmth course through me. And almost immediately, the pain lessened in my hands. The bleeding stopped within a few minutes. There was warm food prepared and we ate. We slept by the fire. When I awakened, my hands were healed. His hands were healed. All of our hands were healed. I asked him, "Did you do this?" He simply said, "Love healed your hands." In these ways, he taught us to know our own light and our ability to move beyond the smallest human self with its fears and body fragility, and to know the immensity of our power of the human form and of the power of love. All right. So those were just a few of the stories from Barbara's book with her 47 stories about Jesus that you probably never heard. Again, if you are interested in reading more of these, you can visit Barbara's website at www.deepspring.org. Those are just so beautiful. They give me chills. They warm my heart, sort of thing. It's just so heartwarming and powerful to hear these stories. I love them. So with that, let's go ahead and just do a quick meditation together. I would love to, in the spirit of light, connect all of us together with a feeling of divine light. We can spread that out into the world. So go ahead and make yourself nice and comfortable. And once you're comfortable, you can close your eyes and take in just a few nice, long, deep, healing breaths. Feeling as you do that your presence and awareness is immediately breathing in a beautiful, bright, divine light. See and feel that light igniting at the center of your mind. Notice that with every breath you take, the light grows brighter, grows bigger, and stronger. As you connect to this light, invite love from your heart to fill it. Invite the feeling of love to surface in your awareness now. Each and every one of us have the power to feel love that can overcome literally any obstacle and create miracles. As you breathe, feel that love filling your inner light, and then allow that light to spread throughout your body. Feel the light moving into every cell of your physical body, giving you a feeling of clarity, perhaps even weightlessness, as the light cleanses away anything heavy you could have been carrying. It just brings you back into your natural, original state of peace and love. Feel that beautiful light as you continue to breathe, moving outside of you, allowing it to create a beautiful radius of energy all around you, sending gentleness, beauty, kindness, goodness, and peace all around you. As you continue to meditate and breathe, feel as that light begins to touch all of the people in your life. As you breathe, mentally allow the light to flow into your family, your friends, into your loved ones. Next, visualize that beautiful light being sent to every human being in this world. Seeing it unite every single one of us with great love. With your next deep breath, notice that the angels are present in this light-filled space of love that connects all of us. See and feel the angels holding space for that light and love on our planet, helping us to hold space and create more light and love. Feel all the ascended masters of the heavens, higher beings, perhaps even your loved ones who are in heaven, joining us, along with Yeshua as well, to uplift our energy and send that beautiful light swirling around the entire planet until our beloved Earth is absolutely swimming in bright light, healing, faith that everything is going to be just fine, peace, perfect, divine, unconditional love. Beautiful. With your next deep breath, breathe that light right back into your own heart. Seeing it bringing resolution, healing, and clarity to any of the challenges you face. Once again, feeling as that beautiful light spreads down throughout your physical cells, moving down your spinal column, flowing out through your tailbone, connecting you into the earth. And let's all just take 2 or 3 more deep breaths in this space together, celebrating that light, feeling the human power that you have to be an instrument of our source, of God, of divine love. And with your next deep breath, think the thought, I am that awareness. I am that love. That is my true identity. I am love. Beautiful. So go ahead and just take one last deep healing breath. And with your next exhale, you can gently open your eyes and shift right back into the moment. Beautiful. So now we will be opening up our phone lines as we all adjust and come back into the moment, so that if you'd like to call in with any thoughts, any questions, or perhaps for an angel reading, you can do so again by calling 240-979-4111. Once again, that number is 240-979-4111. All right. So as we're waiting for a caller today, I am going to do a group reading for everybody who's watching. And this applies to you, this reading, whether you're watching it live or you're listening on rebroadcast. So let's all hold intentions as I shuffle these cards. Today I'm working with the Ascended Masters Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. And I'm going to just pick 3 cards for all of us to see what sort of messages Spirit wants to bring us for today. Beautiful. So the first card that I have pulled is the Focus on Your Strengths card. Focus on your strength because your strength comes from the light. Repeat this meditation, I'm hearing our guide say. The second card says, see the other person's point of view. I think this is a wonderful message right now because it tells us that when you connect with other people, when you connect with compassion and the love within other people, you can bring about real understanding, resolution, positivity, and changes. This is a message about forgiveness. We are powerful when we forgive. Our third card is the Peace Offering card. I love it, saying that as you culminate in focusing on the light, focusing on your strengths, focusing on the inner spiritual power you have to forgive others or to forgive yourself, to forgive the world, to understand others, to come into a state of compassion, that you then experience peace. That's how we bring peace into this world, into our own lives. So it looks as if we have a few callers. So we're going to go ahead and take our first caller for today. Let's see, caller, you are now on the air. If you could go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know where you are calling from today.
I am Sam, and I am calling from San Diego.
It looks as if we're having a little bit of trouble getting connected with our caller. So let's just give us a moment to fix our technical difficulties here. And we'll see if we can connect with them. Okay. Caller, are you now able to connect and hear us? Let's see if we can hear you. You can go ahead and introduce ourselves with your name and where you're calling from.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now. Hooray.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Sam, and I'm calling from San Diego. And so thank you for your talk. And I just had a question about my income right now, because I just found out through my work we aren't going to be working for a couple of weeks. And so I'm looking to see what's going to kind of happen with regard to work and finances coming up. And then I just also had a question about my health, chronic health condition, and just wanted to see how that looked.
Yes. So thank you so much for your call today, Sam. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll tune into what's going on with finances. And I'm going to turn over the cards that I pulled for you in this and see what messages we have from your angels and your guides right now. So our first card that we have is the energy healing card. Very interesting, the energy healing card. And right away, the message that I'm getting from your angels is that there's something that is actually divinely aligned, or there's a divine timing in the fact that you're not going to be working for a couple of weeks, or that you'll have a little bit more time on your hands. Your angels are saying that there's something that's incredibly healing about this time for you, and that it brings a little bit more balance into your life. The next message your angels are giving us is they're saying to trust that your finances will be taken care of as you move into this. What they're showing us actually is what feels like a little windfall of help that will be coming in financially. I'm seeing that there is what looks like potentially either a gift of a little bit of money or even a loan of some sort. And I'm seeing other people around you. So it's possible that this could come from someone who loves you or is connected with you. But there's something that comes through where there's just this magical sense that things are taken care of, that you're sort of patched over financially during this time, and you've got your bridge that will keep things going for the next couple of weeks until things change in your work life. Speaking of work life, it looks as if there may be some positive new changes that are coming in terms of your career or your work life. Your angels are saying that if you've at all been considering, a potential change in maybe the position that you have, it doesn't feel necessarily like you're going into a whole different kind of work, or that there's an enormous uprooting kind of change, but there's a little change, perhaps a new job, new promotion, new position, something like that, that feels as if the time is ripe for it. So go ahead and spend a little bit of time maybe seeking it out or looking for it, because that's going to really help. Now, I pulled over a card as well to represent your health, because you also mentioned health stuff at this time. And this is so uncanny. Oh my gosh, the card that I pulled is the Balance Career and Home Life card. Balance Career and Home Life. So it's right in line with what our messages were before, that say that this time in which you are getting to have a little bit more time to yourself is a time where you're going to be able to reevaluate your lifestyle, things that are going on in your career path, perhaps potential changes you'll bring in with your career, and that what that equates to at the very end feels like it's definitely financial wellness. Your angels are saying that you won't have a repeat situation like this again, where you feel like I'm high and dry for a little while and what do I do? It feels like there's a lot of steadiness, reliability, and dependability coming in as you make a career change or uplift or something like that. And that peace of mind, that balance that you get, creates an instantaneous sort of new sense of health in your life, because the stress changes, the stress goes away, and you start to feel more safe, more at peace. And then the last little thing, your angels are directing us right back to the energy healing card again, stating that if you can actually go towards some energy healing to even further about this releasement of any stress and coming back into balance between home and career and physical health and all of that, the energy healing will really help. Energy healing feels like it's something that would resonate with you really well. Any thoughts or further questions on any of that so far?
So yeah, that's really interesting. And I'm just wondering if you can tell, because my current job, it's a project that we're on right now, and the project kind of comes to an end January, February, if you're still doing well and they want to keep you on to the end. And then after that, there's a new project that starts in about February. So I'm wondering if maybe the change is going on to the next project in February, because the reason why I like this job and I want to keep this job is because I'm working from home. And with regard to my health, that's really valuable for me at this time, is that I want to make sure that I have a job where I can continue to work at home and not have to go out into the workforce.
Yes. Right away, as you were describing that part of it, wanting to stay at home and all of it, I felt the angels repeating that word, the balance between home life and career. And that is, for you, your balance is being able to stay home so that you can take care of yourself the way that you need to at this time. furthermore, the angels are saying that yes, it feels as if you have a very, 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 very high chance of being offered. They're saying yes, as far as being offered something new in the next project. I'm seeing you there. The angels are also saying that this particular project, you have the opportunity to maybe even escalate in what you're doing. So potentially, whether it's a promotion or maybe taking on a new responsibility or something like that, or playing a little bit of a different role, there's something about it where it feels like there is more energy, more light, and more abundance, more money coming your way to keep this a really balanced thing. It also feels like, interestingly, that the next project that you will be doing, again, it feels like you're going to be invited to be part of it, that the next project may last a little longer or lead to something where there's something even more long-term feeling, or really, really steady long-term feeling about that. So interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you are so welcome, Sam. It was wonderful to connect with you today, and I'm sending you so much love.
Me too.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye. All right. So it looks as if we already have another caller who is on. So let's see that we're able to connect with them this time. Caller, you are on the air. If you could go ahead and just introduce us and let us know where you are calling from today.
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you. Great. Yay. No more
good.
technical difficulties.
Yay, awesome. Hi, Sarah. How are you? My name is Maria, and I'm calling from New York. How are you? Happy holidays.
I am doing great. Thank you so much, Maria. So glad to have you on today.
Thank you, and thank you so much for that beautiful meditation, and that story you read was absolutely just a beautiful vibration, very peaceful, and it was a beautiful story. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my honor. I'm so glad you liked it.
Oh, thank you. So the reason I'm calling is to see if we can get a reading.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like a general reading or anything specific topic you'd like me to focus on?
Yeah, I do have a specific question. This year has been a year of changes, realizations, spiritual enlightenment, and on the financial side, it's been very trying. The last couple of years have been quite trying, looking for work and, just trying to assimilate myself to what exactly I should be doing. Now, recently, what I did do is I took a certified angel reader certification, which I was very thrilled about. I actually started doing some card readings.
Good.
Yeah, just to kind of bring out my intuition a little bit more. But since I did that a few weeks ago, I've just been feeling physically more ill. And I don't know if it's subconsciously something that's going on, because I do have worries and fear, I'll be honest, that it's not something that's going to carry me financially. So I just kind of wanted to see what the angels have. There's a message for me. Should I keep looking for the traditional workplace, or is this something that I can move forward with?
So the angels are giving us a really great message. This is kind of a best of both worlds message, because it gives you a beautiful sort of bridge of transition to walk as far as doing spiritual teaching, healing, and reading type of work, and being able to make sure that it, of course, will be able to support your life as well. The first thing that your angels said right off the bat was, "This is a light worker. This is somebody with a lot of spiritual energy in them, and you are very much being called to do spiritual work in this lifetime." They're showing us that you have a big, beautiful heart. You have a lot of psychic ability. It's interesting. I'm seeing both clairvoyance and clairsentience in you that you could continue to unlock and really put your faith in as you're getting, kind of messages from spirit. They're showing us also that you have a beautiful connection with both children and animals. Just these types of beings, they gravitate towards you because you have a sweetness and a gentleness around you, and even healing energy that comes out of your hands as well. So you do have the ability to make a difference in other people's lives, and you are absolutely meant to. The first card that I pulled is the come out of the closet card, which is a card that I love because this card always shows up when we're asking about life purpose. I love it. It shows up when there's somebody who could really empower themselves by coming out and really declaring to themselves and perhaps even to the world, all right, I am a spiritual teacher. I am a reader. I am a healer. I am here to do this. This is my calling. This is my path. The angels are saying that there are many practical ways that you can sort of come out of the closet, so to speak, which is to make yourself as available as possible in any community settings that you have, or even, of course, online and all of that, all the different opportunities we have to do that. Really make yourself available and start regularly communicating with the world, sharing your thoughts about spiritual things and sharing any messages that you receive. Because again, you are a channel for these sorts of things. You have the ability to heal. Now, let's talk about the bridge part of it that they mentioned, where they said that there is a time of transition between, maybe becoming a full-blown, what I do is maybe readings, or what I do is healing-based or spiritually based in some way, and, making that be able to support you. And now, so for now, they're saying that it would be positive, potentially helpful for you to have some sort of job that supports your peace of mind. We want something that you feel as if you can resonate enough in, something that even resonates with the gentle, sort of nurturing, healing energy that you have. So there's an environment, to work in that has that. Then certainly go for that sort of thing, because that's going to, again, speak to your talents and be something that you'll want to stick with. And that is going to act as a bridge while you're developing yourself in terms of having a business side to putting yourself out there as a spiritual healer and teacher. The angels are saying that this is good simply because for most of us, we need to have that bridge where we're not relying 100% on maybe our spiritual work to support us financially, because we don't want fear or doubt to creep in, and the pressure to put on that to creep in. You can think of your budding, kind of life of doing this as, I've got a beautiful little infant baby that I want to protect. I want to nurture and grow and be able to stand on its own two legs, before you go ahead and make this, more of your mainstay. So that was their first sort of message. Again, find something that matches your energy. And they're saying that you will attract something that is good for you financially right now in terms of a traditional sort of job, and in terms of already beginning to ask for money in exchange for doing your readings. The angels often say that we need to charge as much money as there is an energy exchange in this. And in the same way that a doctor, charges for their services so that they can go on being a doctor, because they're helping us, but they need to receive as well. You've got to honor the exchange of energy that is there, and you're offering something that is incredibly valuable. So you always need to make sure that as you do readings, as you embark on this, that you honor that sense of there being an exchange, and help to value what you're doing, because that's going to uplift law of attraction as well, and getting clients or students or whatever who will really, really be ready to receive what you want to give, who will be there valuing what you have to give. So continue forth on your path. It's a path where you're continuing to grow in all of this, and there is a lot of good that you have to serve in this world, for sure. The other card that I pulled for you is the persistence card. And again, I just love the law of attraction, because I think that makes such perfect sense. Persistence. So this is the time to keep going, protect what you started. You're on the right path is one of the biggest messages I hear about this, and trust that the steps that you're taking right now really are leading you not only to financial security in your life, but also to feeling like you are fulfilling your spiritual purpose, your calling in this life as well. So that's really beautiful. Ooh, one other little tidbit I want to add in. The angels just snuck in one other little message. They showed me an image of you writing.
Writing. I'm writing as we speak right now, and I love to write.
Yes. Yay!
So please
Yes.
share.
You have an inner writer in you, and I'm seeing a book that you will bring forward in the future. So
Oh,
that's
yes.
another big part of your path. So know that any writing that you do now is starting to pave the stepping stones moving forward
Oh,
for you putting out a
yes.
book.
Oh, that's my heart's desire. Is to, since a child, I've always said I wanted to write a book. So thank you for that confirmation, Sarah. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Yay!
One last question, since like I said before, I want to continue doing my healing work or readings. As a light worker yourself, what is the best advice for people like us? How do we protect ourselves from energies and any heaviness that we may enter and, that we may connect with? How do we protect ourselves so that that doesn't affect us on a physical level?
Yes, that's a great question. So the first thing that the angels always, they've given me this message before and they're repeating it
Mm-hmm.
now for us,
Mm-hmm.
is they're saying call on the angels to do the work for you and through you, so that it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like you're not, putting a lot of your own effort or energy or taking on someone else's hurt feelings or anything like that on your own. You're giving it to the angels to shoulder because they are experts in doing these sort of things. I'm seeing Archangel Michael right around you, and he's of course, our protecting angel. So call on Archangel Michael before every kind of reading or healing that you give, because he will keep your energy shielded and keep all of the energy between the two people involved in the healing balanced. So the healer isn't draining themselves or anything like that, and the other person is receiving what they need. The other little thing that the angels were reminding as well in this, which I really love, they're saying you can uplift the energy of any spiritual healing or reading that you give when you go into a mindset of service. When you really, really, really focus on service, on how can I help this person? God, let me bring in light and love to this world. That is one of the most incredible things that will keep you in a state that is protected, because it automatically just lifts you right up. It connects you to that divine love that we were talking about in our meditation and in the stories that we were talking about before. It has the ability to create or do anything. And you will probably notice, as I've also noticed before, and many other light workers, as well, who do healing, that when you focus on that service and you really get that spirit of divine love in you on how can I just help, and let it not be me that's helping, let it be God and the angels that are helping through me, then you get just a great amount of energy that comes through you. You feel, I feel refreshed afterwards. I feel okay. I feel just fine. So that's their guidance on that.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate all these beautiful messages. They resonated. They make so much sense. And I've taken my notes. And thank you once again. Thank you for the time.
You are so welcome, Maria. Have a wonderful rest of your day and happy holidays. Thanks for calling.
Happy holidays. Thank you. Anytime. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So that was so much fun. I wish I could just talk to you guys all day. So it's so great to hear from you guys and see the beautiful people that we're all connecting with together. But now we are coming to the end of our show together. So thank you so much for listening. Remember that I will be live every third Thursday of the month at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Project Bring Me to Life, bringing you spiritual discussions and angel messages. And you can tune in every Thursday at this time, remember, to hear the rebroadcast of the most recent show. All the shows are recorded and available to listen to as podcasts on iTunes, at Spreaker.com, and on the app for Android, Stitcher. I will also be posting the links for the podcast later on when they're ready on my Facebook and Twitter pages in case you missed it. And Project Bring Me to Life will also be posting those as well. You can like my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/SarahHall1111. And you can follow me on Twitter by visiting twitter.com/Seraphim444. That's SERRAPHIM444. And as always, of course, if you'd like to contact me for a reading, spiritual guidance, or healing session, you can visit my website at www.seraphim.com. That's SERRAPHIM.com for more info. And for more fantastic spiritual talk radio, music, art, podcasts, events, and so much more. Stay tuned to the Project Bring Me to Life network and visit www.projectbringmetolife.com. Bye, guys.